Hello besties, this week we are doing a brushstroke tumbler tutorial. But before then, let me welcome you to our YouTube channel, Misfit Makers. Besties, make sure you follow us on all our social media handles under Misfit Maker, and make sure you click that subscribe button before you leave. Also check out our website and our page. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to be using a Hydro Sport bottle because I am making these for my boys. This is for my oldest. He requested one with a little handle, so these were perfect. Because this Hydro Sport screws on to the threads are on the outside, I need to make sure to protect it from any epoxy. So my go-to is electrical tape because it's nice and bendy and it goes around the curve. But let me tell you, because I may forget later, make sure that you remove it after you epoxy it, like while it's still wet, or else you will have a heck of a time. Okay, so we're gonna get started with painting my base black. You could spray paint it, use acrylic paint, pop of color. I used some cauldron colors for my black base, but choose whatever you desire. Make sure your base paint is nice and dry before you start this. I am using the colors black, red, gray, and white because those are my kids' school colors. But let me challenge you to use all different kinds of colors and create your own masterpiece. I will say though, stick with like 4 colors or less, especially if it's your first time. Also, if it's your first time, stick with colors that if blended, they will look okay. So obviously my colors are very high contrast different, and if they blend they might get a little muddy or not desirable colors. So what I'm doing, and I did during my little cuts, is that I dried my paint just a little bit before I went on with my second color. So let me back up. So I started off with my red and I did little brush strokes. It's really all it is. Kind of alternate up, down from where your brush stroke is coming from, and then fill out any spaces. So after my red, I dried it a little bit, then did my gray, dried it a little bit. Now doing my black, and I'm going to dry it a little bit, and you get it, right? You get it. So fill up any spaces, do second coats if need be. I'm using pop of color chalk paint from CCDIY, and it dries super quickly. So as soon as it dries, I'm able to either put another coat or move on to my next color. So make that decision based on your paint choice. After it looks how you want it to look, you make sure that it's completely dry, and then we go in with a coat of epoxy. So here I am after a coat of epoxy. As you see, I added a little bit of additive glitter. I cannot not do glitter. So I did a coat of Fast Set from CCDIY, let it dry completely, and now I'm sanding it. I'm sanding it very good, but also very lightly because it only has one coat. Okay, next for my favorite part. Well, the whole thing is my favorite. I love this design. It's super versatile, but I love this look. I took my architectural ruler and one of my pin pens, the very fine tip ones I recommend, and I went around my tumbler and made little lines. I don't know. It gives me like shooting star vibes, but really it's just a little extra oomph. I was telling our mentorship group how amazing it would look if it was like a different, more brighter color scheme and then did a bunch of metallic little lines around. But anyway, I digress. So as you see here, I made little lines all around the tumbler using my architectural ruler that cradles my tumbler, and then making little lines, scooting it over a little bit, line, scoot, line, scoot, line, scoot, line. So you get the idea. Make sure that you pick up the ruler so you don't smear it. So those are my tips. So while the ink is drying from my marker lines over there, I'm going to weed. Did you notice here how I put the whole transfer tape over the whole thing, and then I'm weeding it off the transfer tape? Well, these little words are so tiny and they have those little cutouts. It was a pain in the butt, so I had to weed it that way. But if you have better eyes than me, then do it the traditional way. I call it reverse weeding. I don't know if it's an actual reverse weeding, but that's what I do and it works. Okay, so here, this is my son, and I did a little or offset, and I kind of taped the bottom piece on the desk, and that way it doesn't move. Do the offset and so forth. So here the hardest part is lining it up. However, those little lines served as a guide, so actually it wasn't as hard as it usually is. So I put his name, and then we epoxied it. On the other side, I put a little cardinal because that's their mascot. So I figured it would be an extra little touch. But this is how it turned out. I hope it inspired you to try your own back to school brushstroke color effect. I did 3 for my 3 boys. My middle son wanted something different with glitter, so it has glitter. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you subscribe. I see you guys next time.